Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack. We've been waiting for this day for nearly a year now. The Roadhog Rework is finally released for Overwatch 2. And today we're going to be going over all of Hog's new changes, which includes a rework to his scrap gun, changes to his take a breather self-healing ability, and his brand new CC Pigpen ability. Wait. Pigpen is a CC ability? Well, here I thought we were trying to reduce CC, and now we're giving him even more? Well, let's just calm down for a second. Let's look at all the changes, look at all the numbers, and see how this is really going to affect Hog. So Scrap Gun is getting a lot of small changes that are going to have a big impact on his damage game. The first thing that you need to know is that his secondary fire, his long range shooting ability, is now completely gone. There's only going to be one form of fire with his Scrap Gun. There's no longer going to be two versions of it. But what they're now doing to his primary form of fire is kind of combining the two, combining his secondary fire and his primary form of fire into one. Now when you shoot your primary form of fire, you're going to have 4 large projectiles in the middle of the shot, sort of like how the secondary fire was, but now just with your solo single primary form of fire. However, you still will have the traditional shotgun effect with the little bits of shrapnel surrounding the large 4 pieces of shrapnel, just like how you previously would in the primary form of fire. But now we gotta talk about the numbers for a scrap gun, because not only is this obviously gonna affect the damage, but it's also gonna affect your one-shot hook capability, which, by the way, hook is not getting changed at all in this rework. First and foremost, they're gonna be buffing his overall damage. Previously, each shot was 150. Now each shot is gonna be 160. However, they're going to be reducing the amount of shrapnel shotgun pellets from 25 to 16 to compensate for the 4 large shrapnel shots that you're now getting. Each one of those shotgun pellets damage is now going to increase by 0.25. Previously, it was just 6 damage per pellet. Now it's 6.25. And those new 4 large shrapnel pieces are going to be dealing 15 damage each. So if you total all that up, that's what's going to equal 160 damage. However, a major change to his scrap gun is the critical damage multiplier is getting reduced from 2 times damage to now 1.5 damage, which that's definitely going to impact your one-shot hook capability. So comparing the new changes to his old secondary fire, you obviously see that he does a lot more damage from long range, but what about his one-shot hook capability? How is this going to affect it? Obviously, Roadhog, he is a random here when it comes to a shotgun because it's a shotgun. You know, it depends on how far you are away from the enemy. So if you're able to smell what the enemy had for breakfast, obviously you're going to be able to one-shot hook them. But even if you're a couple of feet away from the enemy, you have a much higher chance of those little bits of shrapnel pieces going farther outward because of the spread. But overall, what I think the scrap gun does is give you a much more consistent rate of not only getting one-shot hooks because of the 4 larger shrapnel pieces, but also just a more consistent rate of doing damage. Because my biggest issue previously was that you would always have to flip-flop back and forth, and sometimes you wouldn't always have the best judgment of distance of when to use primary versus when to use secondary. Whereas now, for lack of better words, you don't have to thinky, all you do is shooty. But now we gotta talk about his brand new take a breather ability, which this is gonna be interesting. So his take a breather ability is now going to be in a secondary fire slot, and it's now going to have a resource meter. This is going to function exactly like D.Va's defense matrix. So if you just press the secondary fire button for like half a second, you're only going to heal yourself very slightly, or if you hold down the secondary fire button, you're going to deplete all of your self-heal. Now, one good thing on paper is that in between each time you use your self-healing ability, you only have a 1-second cooldown before you can use it again, where previously it was 8 seconds. So again, on paper it looks great, but you have the resource meter. So if you use all of your heal, yeah, you can use it again in 1 second, but you only have a little bit of heal that you recharged with. So I guess now would be a good time to talk about the numbers of how his recharge works and how much you actually self-heal. So if you deplete all of your self-heal, it's now going to take 12 seconds to fully recharge from empty to full. And again, just using quick maths again, if you only use half your take a breather, it's going to take 6 seconds to fully recharge. Now when your take a breather is fully charged, you're going to be able to heal for a maximum of 450 health over a span of 3 seconds. Previously, you were only able to heal for 350 health, but it took about, I think, a second and a half or so. But another nerf that I think a lot of people are just going to disregard is the damage reduction when using your take a breather. See, whenever you self-healed previously, you would receive a 50% damage reduction. Now, you're only going to get a 30% damage reduction, which means if you're just sitting around self-healing, you're going to be taking a lot more damage damage as Roadhog. But here's also another devastating nerf, is after you use your Take a Breather ability, you're no longer gonna get amplified heals. Remember last time when you used your Take a Breather ability and seemed like Ana splashed your grenade on you even though you never had an Ana on your team? Yeah, you're no longer gonna be able to get that. Now it's almost like Overwatch 1 where you just self-heal and that's it. That's really all. But my overall final thoughts on Take a Breather before we talk about his new ability Pigpen is that Take a Breather I feel like is overall worse. Even though in theory you get 100 additional health, bad Rotomangs are not going to adapt well because they're just going to deplete his Take a Breather health because they don't know how to manage it correctly. You're going to use your self-heal and then it's like, oh no, I'm taking all this damage, I gotta self-heal, oh no, I'm only getting like 50 health, oh no, I died. But now we gotta talk about Pigpen because this is a weird ability that makes this a very controversial rework. So Pigpen is going to be a CC ability that replaces his ability to where his Take a Breather was previously at. This is going to be a launch trap that not only slows nearby enemies, but also damages them with electricity. Now, when an enemy initially triggers the trap, it's going to deal 60 damage upon impact. However, it's going to deal an additional 30 damage per second when you remain in the area. And if you're slowed by the trap, which you are every time you trigger a trap, you're probably going to remain in the area for at least a second or so. When the trap is activated, it lasts for a total of 3 seconds, and the enemies that are within the trap have a 40% movement speed reduction. And if it wasn't clear at this point, you can trap multiple people within this trap. And something that wasn't mentioned in the patch notes is that the enemy does have a slight little jump whenever they activate the trap, so if there's like a soldier or Pharah, they can't technically rocket jump out of it, I guess. Now, if you already hate this ability, luckily it does have a 12-second cooldown, and it can be destroyed just like Junkrat's trap, so there is that. But I really think there's going to be so many layers to his Pigpen ability that are going to make this one of the most annoying things of all time, because not only is this a CC ability, which a lot of people are going to focus on, like yes, that is annoying to get slowed down and damaged, but what this also is going to do is make it so much easier for hogs to get one-shot hooks off because you are slowed. It's basically going to be like fishing for fish in a barrel, so much easier to get the hook captured onto the enemy. But with how much damage his Pigpen ability does on top of the new scrap gun damage increase, it's basically gonna be one-shot hook heaven because let's say you get trapped by the trap, so that's 60 damage. Let's say you stay in the trap because you're an idiot like me for 1 second, that's 90 damage. Then you have the hook damage, which I think does 10 damage. I can't remember off the top of my head, but all you really need at that point if you land the hook is 100 to 110 damage to kill a 200 squishy hero, which I think that's pretty reasonable to do with a scrap gun. Listen, I wonder your guys' thoughts when it comes to this Roadhog Rework, but my overall thoughts is that this does make Roadhog better, but I don't know by how much, because what you also got to realize is that he's going to be very annoying to play against because he's still all about CC. He still has his hook, he still has his ultimate which pushes you around, but now he has a Pigpen ability that slows you down, makes it way easier to hook. But what you also got to realize is that he's also going to be annoying to play with because he's still the super selfish tank that he's always been ever since 2016. He doesn't have a shield, he doesn't protect your backline with any sort of a protection or peel or anything like that. He's always just going to be moving forward, looking for hooks and looking for kills. And if you have a good Roadhog main, that's going to be great because, well, there's nothing better in Overwatch than getting kills. I will always say that if you get 2 kills, you should always win a team fight. And Hog can do that. Trust me, he can. But if you miss even one of those hooks, nobody's going to respect the Hog and they're always going to push on him. They're always going to anti him. They're always going to shoot him because, well, what are you going to do, kid? Like, you're going to shoot me? That's funny. That's going to tickle. But I mean, look, if you can manage to take a breather and if you can play around the Pigpen ability, he can be in a nuisance to deal with. And hopefully this can make him a little bit more balanced. Not better, just balanced. But we will see because he's going to be added to competitive today. Oh no, this is going to be the worst day competitive. Well, I'll see you guys later because I'm going to go in hibernation for the next couple of days. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.